Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Manchester United won, Fulham nil. I was supposed to do this live, but I've had so many issues with my tech today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the start of the new season, so maybe my software also decided that it was going to give me trouble. And it's been unbelievable. So, but thank you for your patience. Sorry that I couldn't do this live, but we are doing this on delay, and I will of course put links in the social media chats as well, so hopefully people will find it there as well. But thank you for your patience. And I think it's a microcosm really for what the game was. Maybe it's not supposed to be reviewed, this game, I don't know, but it's been a mess. It's been an absolute mess to have to do this, but yeah, sorry about that. But nonetheless, let's get right into it. I think one of the things that the people may ask is, what's an improvement from last season? And my answer to that, quite frankly, is that it's a slight improvement. The same problems persist, and the big issue is that midfield. That midfield is a real problem which needs to be solved before the end of the transfer window, because otherwise United are going to have the same problems that they had last season. Because what we saw today, I think, from those first maybe 60 minutes, and then he changed it after that. But what we saw from that first 60 minutes in the last 30 minutes is exactly what the problems are at Manchester United. United's midfield, their best midfield three. They can't play a midfield three because their best midfield three is Casemiro, Mainoo, and Bruno. If you look at a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, that is their ideal midfield. The problem with that midfield is, one, Bruno lacks control. He's not really someone who's a very who's going to, he's okay in terms of tracking back, he's okay in terms of tenacity, but he can't really provide that midfield cover, and he can't really hold the ball up well. I thought he was sensational today in the role that he played, and he put some really wonderful passes in, but he won't be able to kind of hold the ball up or control the ball the way that Mainoo does it. Bruno can't do that. And the other issue is Casemiro's legs. He was, again, Casemiro also put in some very good passes today. He looked very good today, sprightly, but there were moments where, particularly when they went to three midfielders, he started kind of, the United side lost control, because he's, again, someone who's not able to keep up with the pace of the game for long periods of time. Over 90 minutes, week in, week out, 2 games a week. Can he do it? Probably not. And that is the issue. That is the issue. And that is why Ten Hag put in Mason Mount. Because Mason Mount, what he can do is he can run around a lot. He's got no dynamism in his passing. He's not particularly, someone who's necessarily going to beat the press, not someone who can even run with the ball much. I thought he was okay today. A lot of people said he did really well. I thought he was okay. He had a couple of good chances where he could have scored a goal, and he put some good passes in. He was very good in the press today. I'll give him that. He was very, very good in the press today. He was very good running around. And that is what really is there. When you have Mountain, you have the energy that, can compensate for Mainoo's lack of pace and Casemiro's lack of, legs. It compensates by having Mount in there. And so therefore he puts Mount in that position. And that is that people are saying it's a 4-2-4, 4-2-4-0. It wasn't a 4-2-4-0. It was basically a 4-3-3 false nine. But out of possession, Bruno and Mount would just drop in and make it like a 4 in midfield. So that's how it would work. So Mount was there for that reason. But without the dynamism in the passing, what you do lose is, if you play Mount, you don't get the goals, because he's not someone who's going to score a lot of goals. Yes, he might have scored a lot of goals in his career, but I don't think he's going to do that. I just don't think he's that player anymore who's got that in him now. And the other part is, you lose a striker. You can't, if you start Zirkzee, you have to take off one of Bruno or Mount. We'll come to Zirkzee in a moment. But the problem is, the moment you take out Mount, you then lose those legs, because you lose that energy. You lose a lot of that midfield control, because neither Casemiro nor Bruno can actually control that midfield. And that's why they need a Ugarte, or they need somebody in there. I mean, I'm not sure Amrabat is the answer, but they need somebody else in there who can do that running around that Mount is doing. And of course, what Casemiro already has to do. So that is the problem at the moment that United have with that midfield. And for me, that was the core crux of why United only scored one goal today and looked at times where they could have conceded 2 or 3, is because they missed that central striker, because they had to play an extra midfielder to get that control. That being said, United should have won this game 3-0 or 4-0, because they created so many good chances. I mean, that one at the end where Garnacho completely screws that shot, I have no idea how that has happened. For one, I think Rashford's pass was not very good. But even so, Garnacho, I thought, it was a very poor pass, and it actually went ahead of Garnacho, and then he's trying to get it right. But actually, no, it was actually a pretty good pass. And the problem is, Garnacho's trying to go with his left. When he just a little bit more composure, and he could have gone with his right. Maybe the pass could have been a little bit fun for him, so that he could have got a nice little right foot tap in. But even otherwise, I think Garnacho should be good enough, and is good enough at that level, to kind of turn around, twist in, and make sure that he gets it on target. He doesn't, because he fluffs his line. And I thought Garnacho had a pretty poor game. He got the assist today, but I still think he had a pretty poor game by his standards, particularly what we saw against Manchester City. I thought he had a very poor game today. There were lots of times that twice when he went down, a bit too easily. Probably one of them could have been a foul, but even otherwise, he goes down to easy looking for a foul. He doesn't get it. He gives the ball away. Could have easily ended up in the back of the net. On another day, the moments where he was being outmuscled off the ball, he wasn't getting the passes right. He did have some very good play as well. By the way, aside from the assist, I think there were a couple of good passes as well. But I think he was probably a 5.5 or 5 out of 10, which for his standards is pretty low. It's a pretty low bar. But that being said, the assist that he got for the goal was good. But he should have scored. He should have scored that goal and didn't. Then there was another chance where I think Casemiro had 2 or 3 good chances. We just kept blazing over the bar. Mount had a very good chance in the second half, which he should have scored. Again, another one where I thought he really should have scored that. Bruno should have scored a goal as well in the first half, as well in the second half. He had a couple of chances which he should have scored. So for all the talk of United not, scoring only 1 goal and perhaps, letting go of that attacking initiative to have more control in midfield, the fact is they did create good chances against Fulham and they should have won this game by a lot more, by a bigger margin. Where I think the problem was for United is the fact that they're not scoring goals and then they look a little bit vulnerable at the back as well. Every time Fulham got a run, they look like they tried to score a goal, and Fulham should have scored. I mean, there I think 2 very good breakaways. One was thwarted by Maguire, one was thwarted by Evans. They had 2 very good chances, and it just looked like it was never working for them. There was a good shot from Pereira, which actually wasn't a shot, it was a cross actually from Pereira, which nobody got in the end, and Martinez then kind of turned around the crossbar. So there were chances, and even Rowe in the first half, if he had got, maybe if Iwobi was a little bit more proactive, he could have got on the end of a Traore cross and scored. I think it was the first 5-6 minutes or so. So there were chances for them as well. And against bigger teams, that will be a problem for Manchester United. Those teams will take advantage of that in a way that maybe Fulham didn't. On the other hand, United will not get a lot of chances like they got in this game, and therefore they've got to be more clinical as well. So there is things there, and for me that's the big issue, is it all comes down to that midfield. If you can get that midfield balance sorted, then you can play an extra striker up front, whether that's Holland, whether that's Zirkzee, you play another striker up front, and it gives you better balance. But at the moment, because that midfield of Kobe, Mainoo, Casemiro and Bruno cannot do the work of controlling that midfield and defensively doesn't look solid, because if anybody can look at that, that's not a very solid midfield defensively. And that was the problem, is that once Mount went off, United lost a bit of control in that midfield. That's why you could see so many breakaways that were happening in that last 30 minutes. There were a couple of good breakaways that maybe Fulham could have scored from. And the reason for that is because there's no control in that midfield when you had 3 instead of 4 midfielders. But that being said, Mount doesn't offer much dynamism. If Mount was a good passer of the ball and he could, score balls from midfield, running in late, then I think you could play that midfield and United would be okay, because I thought Bruno had a good game as a false 9. He didn't score goals, but he was instrumental in the goal that was scored. He had a couple of very good passes as well that should have been converted into better chances. So he did a very good job. The problem was he didn't score. Mount doesn't score. And so then even though they press high and they win the ball back really fast, there's just nothing there for them to really work with. So that was the issue for me, that midfield. And I had to spend some time talking about it, because in all the euphoria of Zirkzee, in all the euphoria of Garnacho getting assist, and some really good play as well from United, I think that will get lost, is the fact that there is a reason why Ten Hag has to play 4 midfielders at the moment, because he needs control in midfield. And the his 3 best midfielders individually in those 3 positions don't give him that at the moment. Hopefully Casemiro won't be one of his 3 best midfielders, and hopefully we'll get somebody in. But if not, that's going to be a problem. But talking about the goal, that was a very good goal. It was a very, very good move. Again, Bruno really did well. Martinez actually put a good ball towards Bruno. Bruno then does really well to get away from his marker. And again, that will be lost a little bit maybe from what comes after. But he gets away, then it's a nice little infield pass. It makes it where I actually thought Zirkzee frustrated me at the first move, because when the ball goes to him, I'm like, what the hell is he? He was sort of in the middle of the center circle and the goal. He wasn't really near the goal. He was almost in the middle of the center circle and the sort of goal, the penalty spot, which is not where a striker really should be in a move like that. But he was there and he frustrated me. I'm like, God, this guy's a false 9. He's not a striker. He makes a pass, but then he keeps running. To his credit, he keeps running. He showed me why I'm not a footballer, or why I'm not a football expert as such, because he actually did the right thing there. He did the right thing. He made the pass and he keeps running center, and then the cross comes in and he's there to tap it home. It's a very simple finish. I don't think he's really trying to shoot it. All I think he's trying to get a touch on it in a way that where basically you're just trying to get something on it firm enough that it goes to one of the corners. But you're not trying to hit it too hard. You're not trying to place it. You're just trying to get the right contact, the right angle, You've already twisted your body in the right angle. You're just trying to guide the ball towards where you want it to go, and it comes off, right? And it comes off, and that's how strikers are. That's how strikers should be. You're not trying to hit it too hard because then you might blow it over. It might go too close to the goalkeeper. Simply trying to gently guide it because there's enough pace on the ball itself that you don't need to do too much. But that's a very instinctive striker's finish, and that is lovely to see from Zirkzee. And United need that. They need an out-and-out striker. I think the false nine will work against teams like Manchester City or Liverpool. It will work, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to if United go back to this next. Even against Brighton, they might play this way. And they might play this way against against Liverpool as well until they get that midfield sorted. I think that is probably going to be they're probably going to play this way, and then maybe bring on Zirkzee towards the last 30-35 minutes of the game and try and win games from there, or or whatever the situation may be. But I definitely see United playing this way until they can get another CDM in. But that being said, Zirkzee did really well. I think he scored a very good goal and very important as well. Like I said with Mbappe as well, you just want to get your first goal out of the way quickly. Something just seeing that this happened with Holland as well. It took a very long time for him to get his first Premier League goal, and then he went on a real run. And sometimes that's what you need. Even for Zirkzee, the good thing is he's got that goal out of his way. Now he can focus, on the second goal, third goal, fourth goal. It is better once you've got that first one out of the way. It always helps you as a striker. And I think that is something that Zirkzee will be very happy with. What will also please Ten Hag is the fact that they did score a goal and that it was turned out to be the winner. So that will give him a lot of confidence as well. But I think overall I think we have to talk about some of the issues. I think overall there were a lot of positives today for Manchester United. I think the attacking play was really good. The pressing was really good. I don't think we've seen United press that way for a very long time. We'll see if they can keep it up throughout the season. But in this game, at least, their pressing was really good. And I enjoyed that, and that was very heartening to see. I think some of the passing and some of the moves were really good. Loved it, by the way. So that's hopefully again that consistency. United are capable of it, and they do it once or twice a game. They've got to do that maybe 5-6 times a game. And I think today they showed they can. Now they've got to keep that consistency up. They're not going to get Fulham every weekend. And Fulham, for me, with no disrespect, they're a mid-table side, so you expect United to beat them. They're going to play better sides than Fulham, and they've got to do the same level there as well in terms of the pressing, in terms of the movement, the passing, that has to be there. And that's something to say. I thought Mazraoui for me was a big plus point at right back. He looked really good as well. As long as he stays injury free, I think United will be happy that they bought him. And I do see Mazraoui and Dalot for me. I see those two as the fullbacks at the moment. I mean, it does beg a question: what happens when Shaw comes back, when Malaysia comes back? Because you have to rotate. If you keep playing Mazraoui and Dalot, then when the time comes for both of them to rest, how do you adjust that? Because then that would mean that maybe Amas or Shaw or Malaysia, one of them will have to play right back, and you don't want to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages that. But at the moment, I think Mazraoui and Dalot for nowadays, they will be the first choice fullbacks. And that is, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, totally fine with that. No issues at all with that. And Dalot has shown that he can play a lot of games in a row. He played a lot of games last season as well. So I think he's shown that he's got the ability to do it. But I thought Mazraoui was good. And at the very least, he gives Dalot competition, which is also massively necessary. So that was fine. Martinez, I thought today had a poor game. And I would say poor, I say average. I would say he was average because he made a few mistakes. He made that very good tackle on Adama. He had that good clearance of that Pereira cross. But then he was also culpable for Adama really skinning him, before that. And then there was a really weird pass cross which went out for a corner that nobody had any idea what was going on. There was, I think, another move where I think he got caught by Muniz. I think it was when that breakaway happened with Pereira and then he messed it up. So he had a few nervy moments. And so for me, I think he was pretty average today. I would say Mainoo had a pretty good first half. Then the second half, he kind of faded a bit, which is to be expected. He's young and he's played a lot of football. So it's going to take him time. The issue with Mainoo is the fact that he's the only one who can do what he does in the squad. In the whole squad, there's nobody that can replace Mainoo. Think about that for a second. For Manchester United, they have no replacement for Kobbie Mainoo. Scott McTominay can't do it. Mason Mount can't do it. Casemiro can't do it. He can do it to a certain extent, but not really. There's nobody they have who has the attributes and who can effectively replace Mainoo if he gets injured. So that is a major gamble that Ten Hag is taking. And you can see why United might be interested in Rabiot, because maybe Rabiot has that profile that he can at least be a replacement for Mainoo, or be a player who can come in when Mainoo needs a break. Because at the moment, there's nobody who can do what he does. I thought Mount was okay, but I said he lacks that dynamism in the press. What I will say is that McTominay comes on and he did make some, McTominay does offer you a bit of a goal threat. I think his goal threat now is a bit overrated because I think, yes, he got 9 goals last season, but he hasn't really scored in a while. If I can remember, I think it's been a while since he scored a goal. He does get in good positions, but over the last few games, what I've seen, particularly in preseason, He seems to miss his chances quite often. His shot shooting has been quite wavered as well of late. So he had a good first, 3 quarters of last season, but towards the end of last season and in preseason, he hasn't been that player. So I wouldn't be surprised to let him go. And I was very, very intrigued that the commentators in the feed that I was watching, the commentators were like, "Oh well, McTominay has never really had a bad game." It's like, I don't know what game these people watch, but McTominay has never had a bad game. He's a really good player. He's honest, hardworking player. That's their justification for a player to be good, honest and hardworking. Like seriously. Anyway, don't even get me started on that. It's just rubbish. But anyway, so I thought, for me, I think the question is whether it's McTominay Mount. I can see why Ten Hag prefers Mount because he does give him that, energy in pressing, and he does give him slightly more control than McTominay. But at this moment, I don't think Mount is a significant upgrade on McTominay. I think either one would do the job that the other is doing in terms of the fact that they can run around and press a bit. Maybe McTominay is slightly better. Mount is slightly better at pressing, maybe, but I don't see much difference there. So that's an area that needs to be looked at. Interesting that Sancho didn't even start. I don't even think he was in the squad, was he? I think he was not in the squad. I'm just going to do a quick check there, but I think he was not in the squad at all. Which is interesting. I'm not complaining about that at all. Yeah, I'm not even, if he wasn't in the squad, he wasn't in the squad. So I'm not even complaining about that. But look at that. Apologizes, doesn't make the squad. And I said that he's got to go. He's got to go. He's not I think that Community Shield game probably was his last game for Manchester United. It should be, because he was absolutely pathetic in that game, and he doesn't have a future at this club. He doesn't, and he should go. But it's interesting that, the Ten Hag is like, yeah, he's a good player. We'll give him a chance. No chance. He's not going to stay. He's got to go. But that was certainly interesting. And I thought Maguire was okay. Bruno was very good. I think Bruno would be my man of the match. For Manchester United, I think Bruno would be my man of the match because he played really well throughout this game. I said, yes, he missed quite a few chances that he should have probably put away or at least done better with. But he also created that. He was very instrumental in that goal and he created a lot of chances. So he would be my man of the match. Ahmad had a disappointing game today. I think both right wingers had disappointing games today. I thought Rashford looked actually okay. Probably looked better than Garnacho and Ahmad in this game, which is saying something. But I will end the video on this note because this is something that I need to talk about as well. What is this obsession with Manchester United wanting to every time go left, 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 left? I kept seeing it, and maybe the fact that the right wingers didn't have a good game, so maybe that influenced it. But even otherwise, every time they get the ball, their first instinct is to look left. Now, I know there's a bit of a left side bias. When you're right-handed, you always kind of go left, left, left. And so maybe that is what it is. So every single time it's left, go left, go left. And the goal did come from left side in a way. But still, like, it was just so frustrating to see that every time the ball would go to left, like, try and use your right wingers for a second. And the problem is every time you go left, you get it to Rashford. Unless Rashford has space in front of him where he can cut into the center and do something. Otherwise, all he was doing was getting the ball and running towards the byline and then trying to check back and do something. Once or twice, he did make something of it, which is credit to him. But most of the time it was dead alleys or cutbacks, and it just doesn't make sense that why United was so obsessed with going down the left. There were a couple of good runs down the right that they missed because of trying to go left every time, and it was frustrating to watch. It was very frustrating to watch, and I hope it's something that Ten Hag fixes, because to me that was just unbelievable to see that happen time and again. It's okay if Rashford is dominating the game and he's really taking his marker on and doing well, but he's having an average Rashford game. He wasn't having a world-class game. He was having an average Rashford game, and yet they kept trying to obsess over finding him every time. And I don't know what it is, if there's something that has been told in training, if there's something that is going on with the players. It just didn't make sense to me. But anyway, Manchester United have got 3 points, season opener. A good start. They're top of the table. Stop the count, I would say. But well done to United. They got the win. It wasn't the best of games, but a lot to build on, a lot to improve upon. The next two against Brighton, for me, the next 2 games are going to be the litmus test of how far United are going to go, because they're going to play Brighton away, up down, that they don't usually do well in, and then they've got to play Liverpool at home, which is going to be a tough game because Liverpool beat them 3-0 in preseason. They've looked, as I said, they've looked the best team in preseason. We'll know more tomorrow when they play Ipswich, but those are 2 tough games, and I think what the results will show. If they cannot get, they need to get at least, I would say, 4 points. 4 points from that would mean United are on the right track. 2 points would be same old. 0 points, I mean, that it just would be, unfathomable at this point to think that they could be 0, but it could be 0. And that, I think, will tell us more about Manchester United. Anyway, smash a like on this video. If you enjoyed it, share your thoughts and comments. Again, apologies for not being able to do this live. Try to do it. Issues, I'll try to fix it for the next stream. But do share your comments, do share your thoughts on the game. Smash a like for Manchester United winning. Smash a like if you enjoyed this video. And do subscribe to our channel. Very close to 450 subscribers. Please help us hit that mark. Appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.